Naked, soaked in glitter slime, and holding a self-inflating body part, she collapsed on my porch screaming, "I can be your ultimate fantasy!" I blinked twice, holding my grocery bags like a flimsy shield. "You what?" I asked, backing up as the dripping, neon-skinned woman scrambled to her knees, breasts growing larger by the second like mutant balloons. "My services!" she gasped dramatically, voice throaty and dripping with desperation. "I offer what no Earth female can. Infinite pleasures. Devotion. Regenerative massages." I dropped my groceries when her boobs inflated to the size of beach balls and knocked over my mailbox with a wet slap. "I think you're leaking," I said. "Overflow of enthusiasm," she panted. "I'm trained. Certified. I will perform rites beyond your species' capacity." "You're gonna pop something," I muttered. "Is that what you wish?" She brightened. "An explosive climax." I almost laughed. Almost. "Listen," I said, stepping carefully around a puddle of iridescent goo. "You're hot, sure, but I don't do random glittery porch ladies." "You reject me?" she cried, voice cracking with emotion and possibly hunger. "Is this not foreplay?" "No. It's called trespassing." She sniffled, her huge, liquid eyes welling up with glistening blue tears. "On my world, refusal is stage 1 of courtship. The male resists. The female persists. Yeah, that's called stalking here." She blinked, confusion radiating from every wobbly curve of her body. "You wish for me to stalk you?" "No." "Yes." Consistency detected. Earth males demand confusion, resistance, domination cycles. Very well. Before I could protest, she lunged, trying to wrap her arms around me. I dodged. She stumbled, slammed into my car, and dented the hood with her ass. A metallic crunch echoed into the night. "Courting display successful," she chirped. I facepalmed so hard I might have concussed myself. "I don't need a girlfriend who body slams sedans," I said. "I am not girlfriend," she said proudly, puffing out her already absurd chest. "I am Soulbinder Grade 8. I will fulfill your cravings before you realize them." She raised her hand dramatically, muttered something in a language that sounded like an orgasm and a car crash had a baby, and suddenly the ground trembled. A tree in my neighbor's yard uprooted itself and flopped across the road like a drunk squid. "Oh my God! You just destroyed Mrs. Cranston's favorite oak. Did you not desire landscaping?" "I desired peace and quiet." She smiled beatifically, slime dripping from her hair. "I can also silence the neighbor woman permanently if you prefer." I gawked. "No murders. No illegal landscaping. No insane cosmic boob rituals." She nodded solemnly, misinterpreting everything. "Non-lethal maiming, then. Gentle yet firm." I backed toward my front door, fumbling for keys like a horror movie virgin. "Listen, Miss, Glittertits." She beamed. "My Earth name. I accept. You can't stay here. I don't know you. I don't do hookups with intergalactic circus acts." She cocked her head, expression strangely innocent. "You desire courtship trials instead? Challenges? Gladiatorial mating feats?" I was almost afraid to say no. Her breasts deflated with a comical squeak, shrinking to a manageable C-cup size. Her skin darkened from neon pink to a soft sunset hue. The glitter slime evaporated in a puff of roses and gunpowder. "I will be subtle," she promised, hands clasped earnestly under her now normal chest. "I will seduce you with patience and respect, and bedroom acrobatics your species abandoned millennia ago." "You're going to get me arrested," I muttered. "Arrested? A rite of passage." I opened the door. "No. I'm going inside. You, go anywhere else." She perked up. "Anywhere else? Like inside your walls?" "No. Outside, outside." As I slipped through the door, she wedged her slim foot in the frame with unnatural speed. "You refuse, therefore you are intrigued," she said triumphantly. "Resistance increases mating bond potential by 47% according to my hive mind manual." I'm not playing weird alien 50 Shades of Grey with you. Is that your Earth mating scripture? I shall study it immediately. Before I could argue, she pulled out a worn paperback copy from somewhere and began reading it aloud with solemn reverence. He tied her to the bed and whispered, "You are mine. Is this correct protocol? Shall I acquire rope?" I groaned, banging my head lightly against the doorframe. No ropes. No beds. No more alien pop quizzes. But how shall I demonstrate my uniqueness? I don't know. Get a job? Buy a dog? Not demolish personal property in a mating dance? She considered this gravely, tapping a slender finger against her lip. I can obtain multiple canine units. I can mimic employment rituals. I can simulate taxes. Hard pass on the taxes, I said dryly. Then I must escalate my offerings, she whispered, voice low and sultry. I must engage primary phase 3, unsolicited oral declarations of lust. I paled. No, no, no. Too late. She knelt dramatically on my porch and bellowed. I wish to devour your man-flesh and spin your DNA into our star covenants. The porch light from across the street flicked on. Mr. Wallace peered out, coffee mug in hand, eyebrows raised so high they threatened to launch off his face. I waved weakly. Role-play night! He nodded, shrugged, and closed his door without a word. Meanwhile, my alien nightmare clutched my pant leg, gazing up with adoration so intense it was terrifying. Let me stay, she begged again. I will be everything you desire. Your massage therapist, your battle companion, your nighttime squealer. I cut her off. You mean cuddler, right? Please say cuddler. Whichever noise brings you climax. I slammed the door and slid down against it, breathing hard hammering. There was a soft knock. Do you prefer more subtle seduction? She called sweetly. I can perform the ritual of sorrowful moans and desperate hip wiggles. God help me, I laughed. I actually laughed. And in that moment of weakness, I realized she wasn't going away. Not now. Not ever. The next morning, she was in my kitchen wearing my bathrobe backward and vigorously humping a chair leg. It's the Earth ritual for awakening libido, correct? She said cheerily. I almost dropped my coffee mug. That's called humping furniture. Normal people don't do that. Then I shall do it extra enthusiastically, she declared, grinding harder against the chair like a stripper on a mechanical bull. Stop! I yelped. But I must perform erotic familiarity. It is prescribed. By who? The Intergalactic Horny Council? She beamed. Exactly. I pinched the bridge of my nose and tried to remember if restraining orders applied to creatures not technically registered on Earth. Before I could stop her, she clapped her hands and a buffet table appeared, literally, materializing midair and crashing down, laden with pulsating, steaming alien dishes that looked like mutant body parts. I prepare feast for mating rituals, she announced proudly. Cuisine of 16 worlds. Each course increases your virility by 7%. I gagged as something jiggly and eyeball-shaped tried to climb off a plate. Get that off my counter! But you must consume the lust glorp. I'm not eating anything called glorp. She pouted, lower lip quivering dramatically. You reject my culinary foreplay? I even included Earth delicacies. She pointed triumphantly at a single hot pocket sitting among the grotesque alien cuisine like a lost orphan. I sighed so hard my soul nearly evacuated my body. She fluttered her eyes and pushed the hot pocket toward me with exaggerated hip wiggles that made the bathrobe slip down dangerously low. Desperate to redirect the madness, I said, Maybe we could just go somewhere normal. Like a date. A quiet date. No tentacles. No gravitational distortions. No spontaneous nudity. Her eyes lit up. An Earth male's public bonding ceremony. I accept. 15 minutes later we were at a cafe, and it was already a catastrophe. She tried to seduce me by levitating spoons around her head like a sexy halo. The spoons spun faster, caught fire, and the smoke alarm went off, drenching the entire place in water. She grabbed my hand, thrilled. Earth mating ritual. Wet bonding. Synchronization by moisture. Achieved. That's not a thing, I hissed, wringing out my shirt. Shall I engage Phase 4? Reverse gravitational limb entanglement? What even is that? Before I could finish, gravity inverted in a 10-foot radius around us. Tables, chairs, and unlucky customers floated upward, screaming. I flailed like a dying trout in midair. Meanwhile, she hovered gracefully, laughing musically, her bathrobe still somehow clinging to her in defiance of physics and dignity. This is foreplay among the Azurian clans, she explained. Shall I initiate the gyration spiral? Ground me before I puke, I shouted. She snapped her fingers, and I plummeted into a birthday cake face first. Children cried. The manager called the cops. I sprinted out, dragging her by the wrist, cake dripping off my eyebrows, as she cheerfully waved goodbye to the floating tables. Best first date, she chirped. 10 out of 10. Strong mating potential detected. I wheezed. I'm going to die because of you. Happy death is favorable, she said brightly. Back home, I collapsed onto the couch, groaning, while she plopped down beside me with terrifying enthusiasm. I must now engage in comfort phase, she said solemnly. Physical stimulation of stress points. She massaged my shoulders with so much force I was pretty sure she dislocated a vertebra. Less vigor, I gasped. Vigorous cuddles indicate affection levels beyond mating threshold, she said proudly. You're gonna snap my spine like a breadstick, she adjusted, patting me awkwardly like a drunk toddler. In the ensuing silence, I dared to believe we had achieved a moment of peace. Then she leaned over, nose almost touching mine, and whispered, Would you like to experience the forbidden fourth orifice stimulation? I shot up so fast I headbutted the ceiling. Jesus Christ! No! Her brow furrowed in confusion. But it's a sacred bonding act. No human woman offers it. There's a reason, I barked. She crossed her arms, sulking. You are confusing. You desire chaos but fear intensity. You reject pleasure yet crave intimacy. Your mating rituals are paradoxes wrapped in neurosis. Welcome to humanity, I muttered. She stood abruptly, robes swirling, glitter sprinkling the floor like diseased snow. Then I shall court you with Earth-approved methods. She disappeared in a flash of blue light. I didn't know whether to be relieved or terrified. 5 minutes later she reappeared holding a teddy bear, a bouquet of slightly smoking roses, and a half-melted box of chocolates labeled, Happy mating season, consume if you dare. I read 27 romance novels in 4 minutes, she declared proudly. This is your Earth courting kit. She thrust everything into my arms so hard I nearly ate the teddy bear. I shall now perform Earth music ritual, she announced. No. Too late. She pulled out a lute. Where the hell she got a lute, I'll never know. She strummed a single horrible chord and began belting. Ode to your girthy masculinity. The neighbors stared. A child cried. Somewhere, a dog howled in despair. I covered my face with the teddy bear and accepted the cold, hard truth. There would be no peace. Not with her. Not ever. 3 days later, she decided to seal the deal with a mating ritual that made my insurance agent weep from afar. She built a ceremonial altar in my backyard using my grill, several lawn gnomes, and what I strongly suspected was part of my neighbor's stolen satellite dish. I knew I was in trouble the moment she lit the flames of eternal binding, which involved flamethrowers, fireworks, and a suspicious quantity of aerosol hairspray. Wearing nothing but strategically placed neon stickers, she announced proudly, I shall now honor your virility with the Song of 100 Explosions. Before I could protest, she launched herself into a backflip, set off a dozen Roman candles at once, and accidentally ignited the neighbor's hedge. Mr. Wallace screamed. I tackled her mid-cartwheel to prevent further fire hazards, both of us crashing into the kiddie pool she had filled with champagne for holy lubrication rites. Dripping and spluttering, she clutched my face between her hands and whispered breathlessly, "Did it work? Are you aroused by my ceremonial combustions?" "More arson than arousal," I coughed. She nodded solemnly. "Excellent. Fire-based mating rituals provoke deeper emotional penetration." "Not the word you want to use," I wheezed. But she was already standing triumphantly in the ruined pool, arms raised to the sky like some demented fertility goddess, declaring, "Now for the sacred offering." I knew better than to ask. The sacred offering turned out to be a tattoo. On me. While I was semi-conscious. I woke up to find my left butt cheek emblazoned with her species mating sigil, a heart with tiny lasers shooting out of it. "Now you are marked as claimed," she said, practically vibrating with joy. "I can't go to work with an ass laser heart," I croaked. "You can," she chirped. "It shows dominance. It shows I lost a fight to a horny unicorn." She tilted her head. "Compliment accepted." By the time I found pants loose enough to hide the tattoo, she had moved on to Phase 5, parental approval. She hacked my phone and called my mother. Within minutes, my mother was FaceTiming me, clutching her pearls and hissing, "Is this a sex cult? Are you being trafficked? Blink twice if you need help." The alien woman popped into view, smiling brightly. "I am honor-bound to ravage your son respectfully," she announced. Mom fainted. Alien girl clapped happily. "Earth elders are so accepting." I poured whiskey into my coffee and braced for the next disaster. The next disaster arrived in the form of an official marriage proposal. She knelt, again, this time in my living room, holding up a box that contained what looked suspiciously like a vibrating alien cock ring but was apparently a binding band of eternal rapture. "For you," she said, face aglow with joy and mild menace. "That's not a ring," I said weakly. "It fits elsewhere," she said cheerfully. Hard pass. "But the ceremony is incomplete. You must insert the glory loop to signify consent. Nobody's inserting anything into anything today." She drooped, visibly heartbroken, her glow dimming a shade. I sighed heavily, feeling like an asshole. "Listen," I said. "You're something else. No human woman has ever built me a death shrine, or branded my ass, or terrorized 3 city blocks just to win my affection." "Then I have succeeded," she whispered, hope sparking in her voice. "Not exactly. You're insane. But you're sincere. And maybe that's rarer than anything else in the damn universe." Her eyes shimmered. "You acknowledge my worth?" "I acknowledge you're the most dangerously affectionate thing to ever crash into my life." "And you do not object to further chaos?" I paused, thinking about the lonely nights, the quiet desperation of adult life, the endless swipe-left existence of dating apps. Maybe a glittery alien nymph with bad impulse control wasn't the worst thing that could happen to a guy like me. "Fine," I said. "You can stay. On one condition." "Name it." "No more spontaneous combustion, gravity tricks, or unsolicited tattooing without my consent." She nodded fervently. "And no more singing about my girthy masculinity in public." She looked vaguely disappointed but agreed. We shook hands. She immediately turned it into a full-body tackle hug that knocked over a lamp, 2 chairs, and possibly realigned my spine. I found myself laughing despite the chaos, her nose bumping mine clumsily. "You won't regret this," she said, her voice vibrating with giddy excitement. I already knew I would. I also knew I wouldn't trade it for anything. Later that night, lying in bed, the house oddly peaceful for once, she curled up beside me, her body warm and weirdly comforting. "You know," I said, staring at the ceiling, "you never actually told me your real name." She nuzzled closer, whispering, "Untranslatable in your primitive tongue. Try me." She whispered a sound so filthy, so profoundly obscene, it burned itself into my soul like a tattoo on my brain. I stared at her in stunned horror. She smiled sweetly. "You may call me something simpler. Perhaps Waffles." I laughed so hard I fell off the bed. She peeked over the edge and said innocently, "Is this part of Earth post-coital tradition?" "Sure," I wheezed from the floor. Why the hell not? She beamed. I realized, right then, as I lay on the floor of my own destroyed life, tattooed, semi-kidnapped, slightly aroused, and utterly exhausted. I was completely and hopelessly doomed. And honestly, I was fine with it.